Picture this, it's Father's Day. You're a coaster enthusiast. What's your ideal way to spend the day? Well, most dads would probably want to have some steak and brews, which does sound amazing with a day on the lake. My wife had a different idea in mind. A day at an amusement park with the fam. While the park plans and who we went with might have changed, we still kept the idea. Instead of visiting our home park of Six Flags Darien Lake, we took a day trip to a park that she had never been to, and one I hadn't visited for 12 years. When I went there last, I just hit the credits and ran. So we packed up, hit the road on a day trip to Erie, PA, and Waldameer Park. For those of you who don't know where Waldameer is, it's located right on the shores of Lake Erie in Erie, PA. It's a small park. It's got 5 coasters. It's more of a park for the family. It's got one big coaster, Ravine Flyer 2. First off, this park has free parking, and technically free admission if you don't want to go on anything. They do offer Wally cards that you can reload for individual rides as they take points, or you can get an all-day band. One thing of note, they do have a water park, Waterworld, which we did not visit. However, if you want to check that out, you need an all-day water park band, or you can get the dry park and wet park combo band. We just stuck with the dry park. Right when you walk in is the first coaster you'll see. Comet, a PTC wooden coaster from the 1950s. It's a family coaster, and the likes of the Woodstock Express coasters found at the Cedar Fair, now Six Flags Parks. It's not crazy nor big, but it does have a buzz bar, so there's that. It's got that going for it. You don't really get a lot of airtime on it. A pop, if you could even call it that. It's a good starter ride for all the kiddos, as the requirement on this is only 36 inches. My daughter might have almost been able to go on it, but she wouldn't stand still long enough to find out if she was tall enough. It would have been credit number 1 for her. Unfortunately, on this Father's Day trip, we did not get her first credit, but Mom and Dad got a few new ones, and hopefully, we'll get a few for her by the end of the year. Spoiler alert, she does. From there, we took a short stroll to the center of the park, which had the kiddie rides, where my daughter got to ride some boats, cars, and a little handheld propelled train thing. They all look pretty cool. We were with some family friends, so one of the younger ones went for the park's kiddie coaster, the Ravine Flyer 3, an E&F Miler coaster. As an enthusiast with no shame, you best believe I went on this for the credit, and practically had a zen ride on it if it wasn't for our friend. One nice thing I like to think about this park is its policy on this, is that you didn't need a kid to ride, so anyone who needs the credit could get it. I took a back row ride, while not much in the speed of airtime thing. It's your basic oval layout, stretched out a bit more on the side. It's got some width though. I wasn't sharing a seat, so I slid to the side like on a scrambler and laughed a few too many times. I think we ended up going on this 3 times total on this thing because we just kept going around and they just kept letting us go without moving. It also has a nice little setting around a pond with a water feature around the helix that shoots higher when you go around it. Makes you think you might get a little bit wet on this ride. We went on the swings. Not one of those monster ones like a Sky Screamer or a Windseeker, but the old school, maybe 20 feet off the ground kind. The ride-ups on this one was a blast. He definitely added to the experience as he was making jokes about only seeing and spelling feet all day and almost getting kicked in the head. After this ride, we realized my daughter might not be ready for these kind of rides. She'll come around. After that, it was time to hit the park's signature coaster, the Ravine Flyer 2, a Gravity Group Woody that opened in 2008, inspired by the park's original Ravine Flyer, which operated at the park in the 1920s and 30s. This ride is a terrain coaster. It has an 85-foot tall lift hill that looks right out onto Lake Erie and a 120-foot drop. Crosses over a roadway into a massive, almost half figure-eight-esque turn before crossing the roadway again into a double down, or at least that's what I'm gonna call it, before hitting a spaghetti bowl section of twisted and banked turns, including a 90-degree one, and a few bunny hops before hitting the station. While short, this thing hauls after it warms up, delivering near standing airtime consistently in the first half. My favorite being the drop into the return hill over the road into the double down, which felt like it was 7 seconds of continuous airtime, as that's how quick the pops hit as it was running on this day. That was on a front row ride, so I can only guess how intense this would feel on the back. The switchback section is fun due to its breakneck pacing, as it flies through, giving plenty of laterals with a few sneaky bits of airtime on the small hills at the end, or if in the turn goes with the terrain. Some people say this is a mini version of the Voyage at Holiday World, a coaster I have yet to personally ride myself. But if that's true, which I'm going off of, I really need to get to Holiday World because Ravine was way better than I remember, and it's easily a top 5 Woody in my books. And that is also putting into account I have yet to ride El Toro in the Voyage. We got 3 rides total on it throughout the day, and it got faster and more intense each time. Seriously, if you're in the area, even driving through, take time to stop into Waldameer and ride Ravine Flyer 2. You'll be glad you did. After that, we snacked a bit, got some loaded fries from the Potato Shack, minus the chili sauce. Fresh cut fries with bacon and cheese was very good, and the pricing wasn't bad either. It's like $8, which is very reasonable, and you won't find that in too many parks. Next, it was time to beat the heat, so we did Thunder River, the park's log flume, which either can get you completely soaked or a good refreshing wet, depending on how you all load up in the log. I thoroughly enjoyed this ride, as log flumes are becoming hard to find at parks. It felt amazing as it was in the 80s, 90s, and it was a nice relief with the breeze off the lake. Then it was time to get the last credit I needed for the day, the park's SBF Visa Whirlwind. This is a basic figure 8 layout that you'll find everywhere. Fun ride if you balance it right and spin like crazy. I had a fun chat with the operator as he was an enthusiast as well, joking, telling me the park's next big thing would be a Vekoma family coaster in the likes of Big Bear Mountain, but they didn't have room for a Raptor. We also joked about them putting a hamster wheel on the back of these trains on the SBF. Then we did the park's Mauer Spinner, Spinning Dragons. This is one that you'll find at several parks. Solid family thrill with coaster with twists and turns. We were facing backwards, and towards the end, we were spinning like crazy. We ended the day off with one more ride on Ravine Flyer 2 and let the kids go on a few more kiddie rides before heading off. While this wasn't my first visit, but my first visit in many years, I found it charming and gave me some of the vibes that I had when I visited Knoebels, with what seems like random statues everywhere and an old-timey park feel. You can just stroll the midways and see the kinetics, smell the food, and still have a good time without even going on a ride. I did stumble through the gift shop, and it did have some nice and reasonably priced merch, if you're into that kind of thing. There's also 2 classic dark rides / walkthroughs, which we didn't do. I do recall the dark ride being just weird and odd and kind of creepy from my first visit, but we didn't even check it out or see the water park. But it did look like it was popular and busy. Alright, so some final thoughts on Waldameer. Seeing as I'm here alone, I gotta admit I can do this. I wasn't going to do this, but Ravine Flyer 2 is definitely an underrated coaster. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite Gravity now. The airtime, that last ride was ridiculous. I didn't even get back row. We did front row twice, and then one of them was in the middle. I had standing airtime on the hill, second time back over the ravine, immediately on the next hill afterwards, solid 5-6 seconds worth of airtime there. The whip in those was great. For Ravine Flyer 3, the kiddie coaster, not bad. A little bit more whip than I was expecting. SBF Visa was about as good as it could be. Got a lot of spinning toward the end on it. Comet, solid, or whatever it is here. Jackrabbit. They're all small, old school wooden coaster from the 40s or whatever. I'm going to sound like I don't know stuff, which I don't when I'm not thinking of it while I'm doing something on the fly like this. But, and then Steel Dragon, solid spinner. I mean, Laugh Track might get a couple more brownie points with the theming inside, but yeah. Solid day, awesome log ride, perfect on a good day. The park wasn't bad, so if you're in Erie, come check out Waldameer. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I know I have a handful of things I gotta update and fill in. Trust me, it's life. You know, this is a free time thing, so. The biggest takeaway was how, besides how enjoyable Ravine Flyer 2 was just the atmosphere and the charm of this park. Honestly, if you're heading to Darien Lake, Canada's Wonderland, Cedar Point, or any of the bigger parks that are on the route where you drive past this park on the 90s, you should definitely stop in, grab a couple of rides on Ravine Flyer, and call it a day. You'll be glad you paid the price of admission. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and sorry for the delay in content. I'm going to be working on trying to get a few things out to catch up for that. and one of them will involve a life update as to why things have kind of slowed up for a bit. As always, thank you all for watching. God bless, and we'll see you in the parks.